let's talk through problem number 3 on your worksheet called Applying Rational Functions. Okay? Chef Craig can decorate a dozen cupcakes in half the time of Chef Charlotte. Together they can decorate the dozen cupcakes in 8 minutes. How long would it take each chef to decorate a dozen cupcakes alone? Okay? So any ideas on how we would start this problem out? Any ideas on an initial equation? How many jobs is it? One job. How long does it take Chef Craig to do it? It takes him half the time of Chef Charlotte. So who do we want to give the x value to? Charlotte? Okay, if we give the x value to Charlotte, hers would be 1 over x, right? Well, if she takes x time, how long does it take Chef Craig? Or 1/2 x, right? Okay. And what is that going to equal? How long does it take them to do the one job together? 8 minutes, right? So how do you want to do this? Kind of the same way we did last time? All right, so we want to eliminate the denominators. Okay? So we need a common denominator to do that with, right? What would be a common denominator for this data, for this information? Any guesses? What do you think? Do you know anything that might be part of the denominator? An x. We know for sure an x has to be part of it because these two both have an x, so that has to be part of our denominator, right? What else might have to be part of it? Excuse me. An 8? Is that what you said? What did you really say? An 8, okay, yeah. That has to be part of it too, right? So what is our common denominator? 8x. What do we do with that common denominator? Multiply it by every single term, because what's our goal? Eliminate the denominators, right? Eliminate the denominators. What? Oh, that's a good question. Let's talk about it now, okay? Is there something I can multiply 1/2 by to make it become 8? There is, right? So that's kind of a factor. That's why it was okay to choose 8, right? So now when I go to simplify, what happens in the first fraction? The x's simplify. X over x is 1, right? What else simplifies here? The 8 and the 1/2, right? But here's the trick though. It's that 1/2 is in the denominator. So I'm saying 8 divided by 1/2. It's not saying half of 8. I'm saying 8 divided by 1/2. What is 8 divided by 1/2? 16. That's the number that's left here because this is a 1 and this is a 16. Okay? What happens in the second fraction here? X is simplified to 1. And what's left? 8. And what happens in the last part? 8 simplifies to 1. And what's left? X. Well, on a scale of easy to hard, this is pretty easy now, right? 16 plus 8 is what? 24. Now, is this right? Well, shouldn't we check it? So I put in 1 over, what's half of 24? 12, right? 1 over 12 plus 1 over 24 equals 1 over 8. Well, in order to make this, to be able to add them, I need a common denominator, don't I? Okay, so that would be 24. So I would have to multiply top and bottom right here by 2 to make this denominator be 24, right? So that's 2 over 12 plus, 2 over 24. Sorry about that. Over 1 over 24. I'd have to multiply top and bottom here by 3. So that would equal 3 over 24. Does 2 over 24 plus 1 over 24 equals 3 over 24? Yeah, so is this correct? Yeah, so let's answer the question. So we go back to the problem. How long would it take each chef to decorate a dozen cupcakes alone? Well, we have to remember what we made X stand for. What did we have X be, represent? Charlotte, right? Okay, so I would say something to the effect of it would take Chef Charlotte what? 24 minutes to decorate the cupcakes? Okay. What? C-A-K-E-S. Sorry, I misspelled cupcakes. As punishment, you all need to bring me cupcakes tomorrow. I'm just teasing. What's up? Right here? When I plug in, when I substitute 24 back to the original equation to check and make sure my answer is right? That's a good question. That's fine. Does that answer my question? How long would it take each chef to decorate? So we also have to have something about Craig, right? So it would take Chef Charlotte 24 minutes to decorate the cupcakes. It would take Chef Craig 12 minutes to decorate. Ooh, Jiminy Christmas. To decorate Jiminy Christmas? Would you rather me say, like, bad words? Just easier for me to say Jiminy Christmas when I realize I mess up. It's more professional, because you know saying Jiminy Christmas is very professional. Chef Craig, 12 minutes to decorate the cupcakes. I could say dang instead, but I just say Jiminy Christmas. Sorry. Now, guys, earlier when I was writing this out, showing some students this, they were erasing what they wrote to write exactly what I wrote, except they had written this, but not exactly the same words as me. Would I prefer this to be in your words where you understand it? Yes, absolutely. It doesn't have to be exactly the same words that I wrote down. Some of what I wrote is some of what you said, and then some of what I put in, right? If this is what yours says, but not exactly the same words, please don't erase it. It's fine. Okay? But we do need to talk about this a little bit more, because not everybody did the problem this way. Okay? Let me show you what some other people did. They did 1 over x plus 1 over 2x equals 1 over 8. Is it really? What is their x representing? It's representing Chef Craig, right? They're saying Charlotte takes twice as long. Does that mean the same as Craig takes half as long as Chef Charlotte? But the difference is if you do it this way, there's no fractions. Yes, there's the original fractions, but they're not fraction inside of a fraction like you have here. I just wanted to show you that real quick, because watch what happens. If I multiply each by 8x to eliminate the denominator, x's go to 1, and I end up with 8. X's go to 1, 8 and 2 simplify to 4, so I have 4. 8 simplify to 1, and I have x. X equals 12. Now, notice that these x's are not equal, but they're not supposed to be equal. This is representing Chef Charlotte's time, and this is representing Chef Craig's time, right? But if I have Chef Craig's time is 12, finding Chef Charlotte's time is just doubling it, which would get me the same answer. Does that make sense? Yes, ma'am.
I think we did 1 over x plus 2 over x equals 1 over 8, and we still got 24.
Yes, you would. Okay? Be careful with that, though, because it's not always going to work out. I think you got lucky this time, because it's just one job and one job and one job. Okay? That's why we left the numerators as 1. Okay? Do I need to finish this, or you good with that? Okay, because it's really the same kind of thing. You figure out what Chef Charlotte does based on Chef Craig, because we know it would be twice as long, and you get 24, and then we write our sentence out. Okay? All right, look at problem number 4. One pipe can fill a tank in 6 hours, while another pipe can empty it in 2 hours. If both pipes are open at once, how long will it take to empty the full tank? Similar to the other problems we've done? Yes? Okay, so how do you want to start it out? That's the problem, right? It's trying to figure out what the initial equation is. I think once you get the initial equation, you have it. You have the idea of how to solve these. It's just figuring out the initial equation. Okay? Earlier, they said to me it should be 1/6 minus 1/2 should equal 1 over x. Did anybody get something similar to this? And they said because it talks about the 6 first, and then we're emptying it in 1 over 2 hours, so that should be minus. But think about this for a second. Does everybody understand why it's minus, first of all? It's not doing exactly the same job. They're doing opposite jobs, right? So that's why we've got to have one positive and one negative. But think about this. Let me give you a visual representation real quick. Is this a visual representation of 1/6? Okay, is this a visual representation of 1/2? If I say 1/6 minus 1/2, what kind of number am I going to get? Negative. And the question is asking me how long it'll take. Can we get negative time in this situation? We cannot, can we? So I agree with you that one of them is negative and one of them is positive, that we need to be subtracting, but which one should we subtract from which one? The smaller from the bigger, right? So we should be saying 1/2 minus 1/6 equals 1 over x. Okay? Now, that is a little confusing because this one's emptying it. It feels like this one is like taking away because of the word empty, and this one should be positive because we're filling it up, but it's just not the way it works, right? This one's emptying it, this one's filling it, but in the end we know it's going to be empty. Does that make sense? At least kind of? Yes? Okay, good. So what do I want to do from here? Make this clear. This is wrong. Okay? What do I want to do from here? What would be my common denominator? 6x. If I multiply each by 6x, what happens? Why are you wowing me as if I was a horse? Oh, okay. I just said whoa. 3x. 6 divided by 2 is 3, right? So that simplifies to 3x. Minus x, because the 6 is simplified to 1, equal x is simplified to 1, so equals 6. Do you know what 3x minus 1x is? 2x. If 2x equals 6, is that enough to help us know what x equals? Okay, perfect. X equals 3. Is it correct? Go back here and check it, right? 1 over 2 minus 1 over 6 should equal 1 over 3, because that's the only x in the problem, isn't it? Okay? Common denominator would be 6, so I got to multiply each of these by 3, and I got to multiply each of these by 2, which give me 3 over 6 minus 1 over 6 equals 2 over 6. Is that true? So this is the correct answer, right? Now let's answer the question. If both pipes are open at once, how long will it take to empty the full tank? Well, if both pipes are open, it will take, what, 3 hours? To empty the tank. Very good. Now, I understand first of all, I understand that I'm asking you to write the answer in a sentence, right? That's important. Just that's a cross-curricular thing. Make sure you can write a sentence, right? We don't do that in math very often, but when we do get the opportunity, we take that opportunity, okay? And I also understand that it will take 3 hours is a sentence, okay? But I also know that if I want to look back at my homework and be able to understand what was happening in the question, my answer needs to be something like this so I remember what was happening in the question. Fair? I can look back at this and say, okay, both pipes are open. One was emptying, one was filling, and it'll take 3 hours to empty the tank. That's why I don't want you to just write, it will take 3 hours. I really want you to read the question and answer what's being asked a little clear. Okay? Are you feeling better about these now? I think from what I'm just figuring out from how you guys are answering some of these questions, it's not this part that's giving you trouble. It's the writing the initial equation that's giving you trouble. Is that fair? Okay. So I do have my answer key back on my desk. Okay. I would like to apologize because I did have the answer key before. I just forgot to send it to your sub. Okay. I had it ready. I even was going to send it to Miss Matos in case you needed to talk to her and ask her questions so she would have it. Yes. Okay. So I apologize for that. But it's here now and you can use it now. Check your answers as you go. If you need to write an equation and come check your equation before you even do any work, you know that's okay. Okay? Just get it done and taken care of, and I will check these problems tomorrow.
And this is the worksheet.
Yes. Okay. Any questions?